Hey, Brito back with Chem Jen.
Yep, I just set fire to the rain. Now your job is going to be to find out what the mystery liquid is. Brito, have you ever heard that song, I Set Fire to the Rain?
I think so.
So here I have an Erlenmeyer flask. And
I set fire to the rain.
now what on earth is going on? Do you think that's water in there?
Wait.
So let's answer that first question. Well, is water flammable? No, we know that water doesn't burn. Unless you add it to a grease fire, don't do that. So for this scenario, we're going to say no, water is not flammable. And so therefore, we don't think that it's the water that's burning. Let's answer the second question now by watching this video clip. Could water be mixed with something else? Watch how the flame slowly starts to burn out. Yet, even though it's burning out, there's still liquid left in the Erlenmeyer flask. So this tells us two things. Number one, it tells us that the fuel must be sitting on top. And number two, if the rest of the liquid doesn't burn, then the rest of the liquid is probably water. All right, let's try this again and see what else we can observe. I'm going to once again try set fire to the rain.
Wow. That's awesome.
Now the question I have for you, we ruled out water. So my question is it isopropyl alcohol, is it hexane, or is it diethylene chloride? You're going to look up the MSDS sheets for each one. You're going to specifically look at the flammability, the specific gravity, and the solubility in water. And you're going to tell me which of those three things it is based off those three characteristics. And there's a way to solve it using those three characteristics, and you can spot on get the correct answer. Notice the flame's getting smaller. It's because we're running out of fuel. And then once we run out of fuel, all we will have left is water. So
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It's out.
Okay, folks. Now, I obtained this activity from my very favorite chemical company called Flynn Scientific. Hands down my favorite chemical company. But anyway, Flynn Scientific is where I first read of this activity. So what we're going to do is we're going to use what we call an MSDS sheet. Now, MSDS stands for Material Safety Data Sheet. In the last couple years, they've changed MSDS sheets just to SDS sheets, Safety Data Sheet. I may slip up and still call it an MSDS sheet. Anyway, I told you that the mystery chemical that's burning in the Erlenmeyer flask is either isopropyl alcohol, hexane, or ethylene dichloride. Now we are going to use the SDS sheets of each of those to find out the physical characteristics of those chemicals and see which characteristics match with the fact that the liquid was able to sit on top of water and burn. So in the video, you saw that I had an Erlenmeyer flask and it was filled with water. And then you probably surmised that my mystery chemical had been placed right here on the surface of my water. And then, of course, I added a flame and it lit and we set fire to the rain, and it was very beautiful and satisfying. So how are we going to use our SDS sheets to find out if our mystery substance is isopropyl alcohol, hexane, or ethylene dichloride? Well, we're going to look up three physical characteristics of these substances. We're going to look at their flammability, their density, and their solubility in water. Where can you obtain anything you ever wanted to know about a chemical? Well, you can look at its SDS sheet. And where is my favorite company for doing that? Well, our very own favorite Flynn Scientific, flynnsci.com. Okay, so we're going to go first of all to the SDS sheet of hexane. We'll start with hexane because that's what popped up first. Okay, so we're going to scroll down. Now notice here they have these pictograms. We'll talk about those in a minute. The pictograms are just quick references, so obviously flammable, hazardous to your health, acute danger, that exclamation point. But we're going to scroll down until we get to physical and chemical properties, and there they are. So we are looking for whether or not it's soluble in water, and nope, it says it's soluble in alcohol, not miscible with water. So hexane doesn't dissolve in water. Hexane has a density of about 0.66, and hexane is, let's see, very flammable. So let's go and record those. So hexane, see if I can remember these all. Hexane was flammable, its density was 0.66, its solubility in water was a no. It said it just dissolves in alcohol. Okay, now let's go to the SDS sheet for isopropyl alcohol. Okay, once again, you see the pictograms over here, shows you that it's very flammable and it's acute health hazard, so it's not something you want to play with or have near food. Signal word is danger, so you really don't want to play around with these chemicals. All right, let's scroll down to physical properties on our SDS sheet, and it says it's soluble in water, alcohol, and ether, so it would be soluble in the water in our Erlenmeyer flask. Its specific gravity is 0.8, and the pictogram told us that yes, it is indeed flammable. So let's see if we can remember those and transfer it to our little data table going on here. Flammable, yes. Density was about 0.8. Solubility in water, yes. Okay, and last, let's look at the physical characteristics of ethylene dichloride. Here is ethylene dichloride, and let's look at the pictograms for ethylene dichloride. Flammable again, severe health hazard, acute toxicity, very, very bad chemical once more. Let's scroll down to physical characteristics. Physical and chemical properties. Soluble, slightly soluble in water. Specific gravity 1.25, okay? So let's transfer this. Slightly soluble in water, so I'm going to put SS for slightly soluble. Specific gravity about 1.25. Flammability, yes. Okay, so now we have all the information we need to answer the questions. What was the mystery chemical sitting right here causing the top of my Erlenmeyer flask to burn? We know it wasn't water because we know water doesn't burn like that, thank goodness. And we also know it wasn't water because when the mystery chemical burned out, water was still in the flask. So what you're going to do is you're going to use these details that we obtained from the SDS sheet, and you're going to comment in the comments below and tell me which of these three things, isopropyl alcohol, hexane, or ethylene dichloride, is our mystery chemical that allowed us to set fire to the rain. Remember, comment below so I know if you got it right or not. I'm not going to put the answer into the video.
And I set fire to the rain. Watch it pour as I touch your face. Well, it burns.